One-hand sword and shield is better. This is Corky Gachas signing off. Now, jokes aside, that is actually my opinion on which one is better. If you're not interested in learning any of the reasoning, my rationale why this is the case in my opinion, you can leave the video now, right? For people that are interested in learning, I'm going to show you exactly why the sword and shield is far superior than the two-hand sword and using parry as attack. So diving right in, as you can see right here, for people that have been watching my video, you know for some time that I am always a huge advocate of sword and shield, but I feel that I can finally answer this question on which one is better after changing to this build. In my opinion, I always knew that the sword and shield is the better option, but I constantly get asked questions why I go sword and shield instead of going with the parry route. Isn't the parry really good? And people have claimed that the parry is so much better than sword and shield that I'm a dumb ass for going sword and shield. But in this video, I'm going to disprove theories about two-hand sword being superior. So first things first, we have to take a look at the differences between these two, right? The two-handed sword and the one-handed sword. When we first look at these two weapon types, they are going to be the famous ones, the most popular ones. As you can see right here, this is the Excalibur, which is what I'm using. This is the one-hand sword. So with this one-hand sword, it has a physical attack of 241. It gives you a huge amount of VIT, and also at various refinement levels, it gives you extra HP as well as also physical reduction at plus 15. But I only have it at plus 11 right now, so it does have the 5% HP. And also at plus refine 6, it has a HP plus 150, not as significant of course compared to the HP plus 5%. Okay, so now we are going to take a look at the Crush Naya. So Crush Naya over here gives you much more physical attack. However, it also gives you the same amount of VIT, but this is a slightly different weapon in terms of its refinement bonuses, right? So here, it increases your Lion's Roar damage. So this is more of an offensive weapon, but when you take damage, it has a chance to auto-cast Lion's Roar. So this can be considered a defensive effect, so to speak, because at level 1 Lion's Roar, it's really not going to do damage. I think that the main benefit is for you to trigger Swiftman. So if you have a high level Swiftman core, you can definitely benefit from this. But the benefit of a one-hand sword is that it comes with the ability for you to hold a shield. This is very important, right? You never look at a one-hand sword versus Crush Naya or one-hand sword versus two-handed sword. You always look at it with one-hand sword plus shield against two-hand sword. So if you want to use a one-hand sword, always go with a shield. And if we were to look at my shield over here, which is the Crack Buckler, I think this is a very popular choice, right? The Crack Buckler over here, base gives you defense plus 86, gives you max HP plus 750, quite significant, and also at base gives you neutral damage reduction plus 12%. For people that are unaware, all the bosses, all the monsters, right, when they deal physical damage to you, when they normal attack you, it's always neutral damage regardless of what element they are. So you can take it as you always take 12% less damage from monsters' normal attack. And also at Refine plus 9, you're going to have incoming neutral damage plus another 5%, so you're going to have 17%. And on top of that, there is a 5% chance to auto-cast Kyrie Ellison level 1. So this one is mainly just to break the stun knocks. You can think of it as an endure situation here. So this is honestly quite useful. It's not really for the shielding effect, so to speak. So this one is going to be helpful as a shield. So when you combine this two, right, you can see that there is a difference in the fact that having a shield gives you much more HP and gives you raw damage reductions when it comes to monsters. So when we consider different tanking scenarios, be it in Endless Tower or in MVP scenarios or in PvP scenarios, this can also come in handy. But of course, this is just looking at one shield, right? If you look at all the other shields, you can also tell that they have various benefits that come with them, but all of them come with a base 750. At level 80 equipment level, you're going to have this 750 HP as well as the 86 defense. All of them are the same. So with a shield, you are naturally going to have more HP, more defense. But a lot of people that are holding a two-handed sword, they are for the two-handed sword route, they would argue that, hey, look at this instead, right? If I have a one-hand sword and shield, sure, you have more HP, sure, you have more defense, but I have freaking parry. So what exactly is parry? For people that don't know, they are new to a game, you are thinking of which to go for, and you're asking this question right now. Parry is this skill whereby when it is active, it's going to block the enemy's attack at chance, right? You have 17% chance to become immune to all physical damage for 15 seconds at level 1, and then at level 10 is going to be 35% chance. And by the way, for people that are reading this, right, do not read it as though that you have a 35% chance of becoming immune for like the whole duration, 60 seconds at max. It's not that. It just means that for 60 seconds when the buff is active, you have a 35% chance to block any of the attacks incoming. So it's not a duration whereby you're totally immune. It's not. It's just 35% chance to block, and it's only physical damage, meaning those normal attack is going to block, and then if it's passive, you don't have it on, it's going to be 10%, but we are not going to consider this because this is passive. Most people use it actively, right? So we are not going to look at that passive effect. So 35%, you can take it as you have people will say that you have, oh, I have technically 35% more HP. For ease of comparison, I'm even willing to say that, okay, sure, you can take 35%, I'll give it to you. So now if we take that as 35%, right, against physical, just consider only physical scenarios, 35% effective. Let's look at what a shield provides. Is it really just 750 HP? It's not really so, right? Because like I mentioned just now, the neutral damage is already reduced by 17% if you have a cracked buckler. But on top of that, what people often forget is that when you have a shield, right, you don't just have a shield, you have the additional bonuses when it comes to holding an additional equipment, which is first, you have what we call refinement. So refinement gives you physical defense, and you can see, right, physical defense plus 34, it's minus 10% of physical damage taken, and then defense plus 2%. So honestly, it's a lot of benefits, right? On top of that, enhancement levels, right? The higher you go, the more you're going to benefit from the shield. And at my current level, level 80, you're already having an additional 1300 HP as well as defense plus 11. And on top of that, you still have enchants. And look at my enchant right here. I have 400 HP plus stone skin. What stone skin does, if you ask, go to it, go to see stone skin. Physical damage reduction, 6% healing taken plus 2, and it's only at level 2. So subsequently, it can go up to level 3, it can go up to level 4, but parry only caps at 35%. And on top of that, there is still the base stats, which is the max HP plus 750, and also modifications. I can even modify my equipment. But as you can see right here, my buckler is mildly modified. I only click on it a few times, but it already has max HP plus 1.24% as well as max HP additional 52, and then additional some of the defense and also some bit. So if you look at the limit, you know that there is a RAM equipment modification. If I click it enough, go to 100%, it has potential to give me up to this stats, right? Few of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 lines, right? So it has additional potential for it to go up to that max HP plus 3%, right? Defense addition by so much, and also there is additional HP and also VIT, right? If you want to go for strength, you can also go for strength, up to you. Physical damage reductions. All these benefits, people don't look at it, right? They only know parry gives me extra 35% chance to do that. And all these benefits, right, especially HP, comes into play also when you are facing magic damage. It doesn't only reduces physical damage, it doesn't care where you are, and especially in PvP whereby HP is multiple fold. So if you just compare, right, if I were to remove my shield over here, right, I remove the shield and we go to see my stats. This is 59k, guys. Something I even forget to mention is the cut in my freaking shield, right? So this Megalodon cut, look at this here. My cut, Megalodon cut, is only at non-awakened state, max HP plus 4%. If I max awaken, this is 7% max HP. So if I just on my shield, remember just now was 59k. So remember, without a shield, 59k. If I just click on my shield, look at this. Instantly 65k. I gained 6.4k HP out of nowhere just with this shield, and then on top of that, my physical defense increased by over 100 plus, and then also there is a refinement physical defense over here. So all of this adds into effective reductions, right? It doesn't come in the form of like 35% evasion or 35% immunity. It comes in the form of all the building up into the defense formula, into the damage reduction formula, which makes you extremely tanky. And on top of that, okay, I'm also going to add in another argument. So as you can see, I just received the buff from my priest Assumption, right? This buff itself, everyone knows it, it's freaking insane. Increases equipment physical defense as well as equipment magical defense by 100%. So me having a shield is going to give me extra equipment physical defense, and I have a whopping 2197 physical defense right now after having Assumption. How sick is that? Without the shield, it's going to be a stark difference. If you just take out a shield, right, remove it, look at this, look at the difference. 1962, over 200 stats of physical defense difference. And people are telling me that the two-hand sword plus parry is stronger. Okay, if you're still not convinced, never mind. I'll bring another point into the equation right now. I have so many points, so many cylinders I can fire from. go into the skill build right now. Tell me, how are you going to add your parry? Okay, so I'm going to add 10 stats into parry. Now I'm going for a full tank build, right? Add 10 stats into parry, add 5 into tension relax, add 10 into aura blade. This is 25, add 5, add 10 joint beat. Can't add concentration anymore. So this concentration flexibility doesn't come in for you if you do not have the stats point to add it, right? You can never gain this weapon attack if you need it in tanking scenarios to boost your DPS against like the lower level bosses. You can't have that anymore. You don't have the flexibility. Okay, what if you tell me, okay, then I don't use tension relax? Sure, you can take away tension relax. You gain 5 points of concentration max. Or do you want to sacrifice aura blade instead? I don't think you want to do that. Or do you want to sacrifice joy bit instead? I don't think you want the additional damage to go away. So 10 points of skill points into parry is very, very costly, trust me, right? Especially if you are not even maxed yet. If you're not maxed yet, I'm not sure how you're going to find the points to put all the skills in, right? It's at 40 whereby it kind of becomes manageable. But before that, you're telling me that the parry build is going to be better than the one-hand sword and shield. I think you're really capping. Now moving on to my next point, I'm going to show you MVP footage which is of Doppelganger that I just recently farmed. And you can see right here, I am currently tanking Doppelganger and I have very little difficulty tanking Doppelganger as compared to previously when I was not using a one-hand sword and shield. The difference is massive. I have so much more physical defense, and even though the defense ignoring attack usually one hit KOs you because it ignores your defense, right? No matter how much defense you have, right now my HP is boosted up so much that I don't even feel like I'm close to dying, right? Only can have defense ignoring attack every few cycles, so it doesn't keep spamming defense ignoring attack, and then the rest of the attacks are going to be buffed by my increased defense, which means that I can definitely have the priest heal me back up before I go again. And another point that I want to make about parry is that previously I was tanking using safety wall. So for people that are unaware when it comes to tanking, right, if your priest uses safety wall, I know that some people say that, hey, if I don't want to use safety wall on my tank because if I use safety wall, they are not going to receive damage, we are not going to have the damage taken stat. That is absolutely false. It's capping. You can go test it for yourself. All the tanks, you should know it. If you have safety wall on yourself, you should be able to obtain damage taken, but the disbenefit or disadvantage of using that is that your priest is going to get 0 healing. You're not going to have healing because you're not going to be damaged. The same applies for parry. I really don't know whether parry counts as damage taken, whether the shot goes through and then they take into the system. This I really don't know. People would have to test once with using parry, once without using parry. I doubt people have done such tests anyway. So people that claim that it's one way or the other, I really cannot vouch for any of those because I haven't tested myself. But even if it does, I'm going to say that it does, right? You're still not going to benefit, right? Every time you parry the defense ignoring attack, right, you're not going to be able to obtain the HP reductions that is going to allow your priest to heal you back up. So this is a benefit of having a raw tank like one-hand sword and shield, whereby your increased stats is going to allow you to do so very comfortably, as you can see in this video, right? Allowing us to get highest damage taken and also highest healing so that we can easily get MVP if you can't survive the hit if you don't parry the Doppelganger defense ignoring attack, right? So either ways, if you can tank it even without parrying it, right, then I would say that that is still fine. But if you can't tank it without parrying it, then you have a 65% chance of getting one hit KO when Doppel casts defense ignoring attack, while the one-hand sword and shield is going to be able to tank it through no issues at all. So this is the main difference and the advantage of the one-hand sword and shield, I feel, when it comes to the scoring system of the MVP. Very crucial for this to happen so that your priest can get more healing for you to get more score. Now, of course, there are also some benefits when it comes to two-hand parry compared to a one-hand sword and shield. I'm aware that there are some benefits and I'm going to state it here for people that are interested in these benefits. And that is against damage that can definitely one-hit KO you. For instance, in PvP, whereby someone Ashura strikes you, if you can't survive with both builds, right, then parry is going to be significantly better because you have 35% chance of instantly blocking it and then surviving it, while the monk is going to waste all their SP and then you can now hunt them down. So that is one of the rare instances I think that the parry really shines. So it's in blocking a one strong hit. But honestly, that is one of the only scenarios I see it shining better. Or if you are the god of parry, right, your 35% chance is actually 75% chance, then you can tell me that, hey, I have effective 75% block chance. But for the rest of people that are only having average rates, right, I don't think that this can be applied. And in most instances, one hand sword and shield is going to be so much better in tanking scenarios compared to a parry build. And that about does it for this video, where I share my opinion on this question that I've been asked a million times since the start of me making the vid tank build video, right? Everyone has been asking me this question, and now that I have the sword and shield, I can assure you 100% that the sword and shield is really good. So this is what I've concluded after pondering on this for quite some time. Also, if you're interested in seeing someone suffer, definitely click on this video. You'll have a fun time. I'll see you guys over there. This is Corky Gachas, signing off.